New grafting technique could combat the disease-threatening Cavendish bananas.
Here's a summary of the article.
Grafting is the technique of joining the shoot of one plant with the root of another, so they continue to grow together as one. We've achieved something that everyone said was impossible. Grafting embryonic tissue holds real potential across a range of grass-like species. We found that even distantly related species, separated by deep evolutionary time, are graft-compatible, said Professor Julian Hibbard in the University of Cambridge's Department of Plant Sciences, senior author of the report. Grafting genetically different root and shoot tissues can result in a plant with new traits, ranging from dwarf shoots to pest and disease resistance. He added, "It's an urgent challenge to make important food crops resistant to the diseases that are destroying them. Our technique allows us to add disease resistance, or other beneficial properties like salt tolerance, to grass-like plants without resorting to genetic modification or lengthy breeding programs. Cavendish bananas are sterile, so disease resistance can't be bred into future generations of the plant. Research groups around the world are trying to find a way to stop Panama disease before it becomes even more widespread." Grafting has been used widely since antiquity in another plant group called the dicotyledons. Dicotyledonous orchard crops including apples and cherries, and high-value annual crops including tomatoes and cucumbers, are routinely produced on grafted plants because the process confers beneficial properties, such as disease resistance or earlier flowering.
This post received a score of 4,300, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Bring back more banana species. Bring back the Gros Michel. So much this. I had a Gros Michel in Honduras once and it was so much better than a Cavendish it's not even funny. I wouldn't miss Cavendish bananas at all if we could get Big Mike's in Canada.
Being close to the source means what you ate in Honduras was left longer on the tree to increase sugar content. I grew up near the port of Oakland and got fruit from all over the world, but now I live in Australia where three things are way better: bananas, pineapples and mangoes that are all grown within our borders. So that delicious Big Mike, if you were to get them in Canada, would never be as good as what you had in Honduras.
Same reason why people always say their backyard tomatoes are better than the supermarket ones. They are, but it's because they weren't picked green and then ripened in transit. Fresh picked fruit is always better than store-bought.
That's also much of the reason indoor agriculture and even vertical farms are booming. There is a market for produce grown closer to the customers. The economics is only there for some crops and some markets, but that will slowly expand with time.
I love the idea of indoor farming, but I think the economics of it end up eating it up. If a farm gets developed in a major like NYC, it would provide only like one zip code's worth of food. Then why wouldn't a farmer in Iowa, or upstate NY just use the same setup to grow on their farm where land is already cheap? They'll be able to sell blueberries at 1/3 of the costs of the farm in NYC, which, I believe, will ultimately win out.
Is not a hypothesis being offered for possible consideration, but something already present in the market, and expanding rapidly. They don't provide literally all the calories, rather they provide specific produce for the local market. They can if they want, but the food wouldn't be as fresh. The market is already growing at double-digit rates.
I'm talking about when you get to much larger scale. Today, most of the country's food already comes from California and the Midwest. It's fresher than it's ever been and is feeding people just fine. Double-digit growth rates are nothing when you're starting at almost nothing.
Today they're already growing greens, cucumbers, strawberries, and tomatoes in C. That's a large market to grow into, and it'll take some time to build out that capacity. Your common-sense objections don't represent the way the market is trending. The market is already trending towards food that is more locally grown, where economically possible. If they're in vertical farms, that shows some market potential.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.